Alright, so we are here. It is October 12th, and I have not gone over the news in about 10 days. They've announced some new stuff today, as well as some new things in the last 10 days, and I'm just gonna go over it all at once. There's many of the stuff over the past 10 days was not worth doing like a whole news video on. I mean, like, unless you're really thirsty. So I decided to wait till we had more to give out. So, first up, going in chronological order here. This artwork was released by Guild Wars 2 on Twitter on October 2nd. So this, of course, is using the Thief coloring, and it's got the blues and the reds, and you can all clearly see from the shape there that thieves are getting Bop It. Or a scepter. So, a lot of confusion about that, a lot of people wondering what they're getting. I'm hoping they get a support build. Honestly, thieves are one of the only classes where all their builds are damage, damage, or damage. They offer nothing utility-wise. There's a couple of fights in the game that they are like unique for, and one of them's a door. So it's like, you know, it's like, oh, I want to join the group. So my spec is, I don't care. What DPS do you do? That's them right now. Just like, you know, hunters, rogues, and mages in World of Warcraft, they're just pure damage, pure damage, pure damage. I hope the scepter, if, assuming that is what it is going to be some sort of supporting tool. Don't know how that would work, but I would love to see it. You know, give them ranger spirits. I don't care. Give them warrior banners. Just something to make them desirable in a party. That would be fantastic. Also leads to some fun artwork of Magical Girl thieves. They'll be able to use the Magical Girl outfit. Credit to IceB on Twitter. She is wonderful. Alright, the second thing that they released on October 9th, which was 3 days ago, was the same day that they did the guild chat, and I will go over that in a second. The coloring, as well as the hair, that is obviously vegan roots. This is 99% Ranger with a hammer. It uses the coloring tones for the Ranger, and the Ranger artwork is always a Sylvari in the past. I don't know why she has a cloven hoof for a feet. I'm guessing that was an oversight when they pasteled the details out. But it appears to be a Ranger hammer. Now, we don't know for a fact what this is going to have. However, the Ranger in Guild Wars 1, now in Guild Wars 1 you could do a multi-spec. You could be two classes essentially. You could be Ranger with Warrior, for example, and there was a build that was known for in Guild Wars 1 called the Bunny Thumper. Now the Bunny Thumper build had a big hammer and a lot of crowd control. Like, they stun you, they knock you down, they stun you, they knock you down, they stun you, they force you to fill out your taxes, they stun you. And the whole time, their pet is chewing on you. Now, the pet wasn't doing a lot of damage, but you couldn't get up. So you would just get CC'd to death. Something akin to what a Spellbreaker can do in modern Guild Wars 2. Now, this might not be the Bunny Thumper. I think it would be funny if it just did something straight out of left field. Like, you know how a Revenant's hammer is a ranged weapon? Like, what if you swing this and, like, roots attack the target from, like, you know, 1200 range or something? I don't know. There's a lot of people thinking it's Bunny Thumper. Another important thing is there's no pet in this artwork. Both the Soul Beast and the Druid splash art had a pet somewhere in it. There's no pet in this. Now, that could be nothing, or it could be something. I mean, I'm not sure what the new ability would be. Druid, of course, has Astral Power. Soul Beast has the Merge and Unmerge. Maybe this guy has 5 active pets at once. There you go. A Ranger can dream. A guy can dream. So, there's that. Or it could be standing in front of him in such a way that it's not showing up very well in the artwork. Your pet becomes your hammer? Yes, this is just, this is a fish on, this isn't a hammer, it's a fish on a spear. There you go, you just beat them with the fish. So that happened. Now, on that same day, which was October 9th, they had a guild chat. Now, during that guild chat, they showed off a lot of Xingje. And I watched this, and then I turned up the speed and turned up the speed, and I'm gonna TLDR an hour here. Xingje is pretty. Ranger's getting hammer, probably. If you don't have Heart of Thorns and you buy End of Dragons, you will get gliding. They didn't say if you get all the gliding masteries, but they did say you will need gliding in End of Dragons, so they're going to give it to you. If you get End of Dragons and you don't have Heart of Thorns, you get gliding. If you get End of Dragons and you don't have Path of Fire, you will get the opportunity during the End of Dragons to unlock the Raptor and the Springer. Note, not all mounts, but the Raptor and the Springer. So, yeah, if you still don't have Path of Fire or Heart of Thorns, and you get End of Dragons, for some reason, you can get gliding in 2 of the mounts during your time there. So, those things are coming out. But yeah, gliding, mounts, isn't this place pretty? Ranger getting hammer. Boom. Now you've watched the hour-long guild chat. You're welcome. But yeah, they ran around Xingzhou. They showed some various stuff. I'll have a link to it in the description if you yourself would like to watch this entire thing. It is still in the VODs of their Twitch stream, and I think it might be on their YouTube channel as well. Alright, the final thing came out today, which is the Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons Winter live stream schedule. October and November. Just going to go from the top. October 22nd. Thank you, Bobo, for short. October 22nd is the Beta 3 preview. Now, by beta, we're referring to where we get to try out the new Elite specs. So, for example, Beta 1 was the Willbender, the Virtuoso, and the Harbinger. Beta 2, I don't care. Beta 3 is, by process of elimination, it's going to be all the medium classes. It's going to be Thief, Ranger, and Engineer. Beta 4, which is much further out, is going to be all 9 Elite specs as well as the Siege Turtle. That's further out, though. November 12th is an Echovald Wilds map tour, which, of course, finalizes in stone that Echovald Wilds will be in the Cantha region that we will have access to. November 19th will be the Jade Sea map turtle. November 24th will be the Siege Turtle preview. Probably get a look at its kit, things like that. December 3rd, and this one I think is the one we've got the most to talk about here, Expansion Gameplay Overview. So, one of these bullet points here really jumped out at me. Legendary Weapon Variants Preview. Variants? So to go back in time briefly, when they unveiled the Generation 3 Legendaries, Generation 3 Legendaries they all look like Aurene. Like, every single one of them looked like Aurene's tail or something like that. And, like, if you didn't like how Aurene looked, you hated the whole set. And it was unfortunate. If you loved how she looked, you loved the set. If you didn't like it, you hated the whole thing. It was really unfortunate. You were all in. Also, I myself really loved, now granted, it takes more work to make these, but the old legendaries, you've got the rifle that looks like a cannon from a ship and it fires cannonballs. You've got Bolt, the sword of lightning. You've got Twilight, the sword made out of the night sky. Sunrise, the sword made out of the morning sky. Chuka and Champawat, which fires freaking tigers out of it. Shushadu, where you block attacks with a baby. Binding of Ippos, where you get a demon arm and a book of the freaking Necronomicon. I don't know. Every single legendary was extremely unique and one of a kind, and they had their own story. And then they said Gen 3, and we were all like, whoa. And then Gen 3, the entire set is the same thing. So I myself was extremely disappointed in that. I was super bummed out. But then we got this here. Variants Preview. Now, I don't know what that means, but I'll tell you what I would hope for. Again, this is me going into speculation. I want to be very clear on that. So, if, from a development standpoint, they spend a certain amount of resources getting Aurene's skin looking right, and then they just paste it onto all these different weapons. And I'm not saying it's easy, I'm summarizing here. That might mean it will be easier to make more sets. So, if they do one for... If they did one for Aurene, if they did one for Zaitan, and then they just have, a whole Zaitan legendary theme, and then one for Krakatoa, one for Bubbles, whatever, and they could just keep doing that. Maybe it'll be something like that. I could be completely wrong, but the first thing I thought of when I saw variants is like different themes. If the first one's Alreen, the next one would be another dragon, but you know, I could just be like Samsonite way off on this. So I'm excited to see what that is, because I went from being super excited, like I was so pumped about Generation 3 that I stopped crafting any like legendary type stuff on my account, as I was like, I'm not making any more because I want to save up materials. And then I saw the Gen 3 stuff and I was like, well, okay, there's nothing to save for. And then I just emptied my bank and went back to normal gameplay. So that was me. I was super bummed out, but you know, maybe this is you know, something to be excited about. Okay, new story characters. To me, this is nothing. Of course there's going to be new characters. We're going to a continent we haven't been to in like, you know, 500 years. Of course there's going to be people there we don't know, right? I'm guessing this is going to be a way of really shining the spotlight on the voice actors and the characters that they are going to play there. Like I know there was one that they showed recently that was like that, the person that had like the jade arm. They had a prosthetic jade arm. I'm sure that person is going to be one of them there. Maybe we'll see who that Asura was that was hanging out with my Trin. I'm very interested in that. Stuff like that. So this right here is nothing to me, or it's something very, very small. But, you know, okay, all right, so that's coming up. New guild hall. They already, I'm pretty sure when they first showed the fishing videos, they very briefly either showed the new guild hall or they just talked about it. They did confirm it will have water and it'll have plenty of room to do fishing trips in. But they certainly haven't done a thorough tour, so maybe we're going to be seeing it in detail coming up. Also, many people don't know, every guild hall does have minor, you know, pros and cons to it. For example, you can get obsidian chunks when you're mining the synthesizers in the Path of Fire Guild Hall. You can't get those in the Heart of Thorns Guild Halls. And there's a different rare material. So there's going to be something about this guild hall that's probably one of a kind to it. Arbor Stone Revitalization Masteries. Now, it's been a long time since I played Guild Wars 1 Factions, and I'm not going to pretend like I was a Wooden Potatoes level lore nerd during my time playing that game. I vaguely remember Arborstone being the name of, I believe, a dungeon or something like that during that time period, but I don't have the details on that. As far as Revitalization Masteries, this is apparently one of the masteries that they did not reveal to us. There were the masteries for fishing, the masteries for skiffs, and they said there was more that they weren't ready to reveal yet. Apparently, this is one of the ones that they did not reveal to us in the past. Now we know what another section was. January 28th, new Canaan City map tour. So another zone, apparently called New Canaan. I'm wondering if something, you know, if it's no longer the city of, what's the word for it? I'm wondering if it no longer is like a city of like a shanty town, because before it was just a massive, almost ghetto. That was one of the most prominent memories I have from playing Factions as a kid, was just like this 8-story tall, yet very poor looking labyrinth of a city. Finally, late February 2022 launch day celebration. So in the past, they told us that the expansion would come out February. Now it says late February. So in a very minor way, we've narrowed down the launch date a little bit more, but we don't have an exact date. So that is what's coming up. I imagine in the coming days, we're going to get the teaser for the Engineer, which at this moment in time of recording is the only one we don't have. We have what is, you know, we're 99% sure that the pictures I showed earlier were the Thief and that the other one was the Ranger, and so the only one that we haven't seen, if I'm correct on everything I've said so far, is the Engineer. And we'll find out what that is. Now, a reminder that even if your class gets a weapon you don't like, there are so many builds that don't even use the weapon. I mean, like, Berserkers, like, they usually don't use their weapon. You know, a druid in PvP almost never uses a staff. It's more like their traits, their specialization, and their class skill can be so good that the weapon's a non-factor. So I'm very curious. Like as a ranger main, I was really hoping to get something unique like a focus or a shield. Hammer was not really on the list of things I wanted, but it's like, okay, well, if that's what we're getting, show me what the class function is. Show me what the function keys do for that class. So I'm very, very interested in that. So that's what we know now. That's the news for the last 10 days. There will be more to come. If you have any additional info that I missed or anything that you want to add, put it in the comments down below, and we'll catch you next time.